Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I'm coming to you right at the moment because I wanted to finish up uh, on the introduction to spirituality and the journey that I embarked on, and how I came about spirituality and how that might relate to you. So for this one, what I wanted to do is I wanted to address kind of how once you find your voice and once you know how valuable it is, how you start to discern messaging that is directed towards you, between you, let's say, and God or Allah or whoever you pray to or whatever you believe. And how do you understand when they're trying to get your attention? So for many people, it will vary because each journey is specific to who they are and is kind of guided towards your strengths. So someone who is inclined to take walks after after an argument or after something happens or when they're trying to figure something out would then usually find themselves walking in a particular path where they start to notice that specific oddities or things that jump out at them are happening in a pattern frequency. And so it becomes apparent that the pattern is the way of communication. And it's not just patterns that you see every day, it's more like patterns that your brain registers and your inner voice goes, wait a minute, that's me. What's going on? And so when you start to read those, you start to better understand what it is that's going on. So because it varies so much, I'm going to use myself as an example. So for me, I tend to look for patterns. Usually, I'm not looking for them. I just usually am minding my own business. But part of my gifted part of my GT when I was a kid is that I identify that I have pattern recognition. So for me, anomalies jump out at me because I start to notice things that are repetitious, that are not normal. So let's say that when I was working at the bar, I would be taking orders, and the first order would be, let's say, it was a full bar, and everybody all of a sudden would want a iced tea at a bar with grits, and we don't always run out of grits. But it would be all day long, every other person or every person in a direct path. Like a pattern would emerge where every single person suddenly wanted iced tea at the bar and grits at the bar at the same order, but from different people. And so I was like, okay, so obviously it was a way that something was trying to get my attention. And so I started to learn how to focus and find what it is that I was trying to either be warned about or trying to be kind of engaged on. And so it was kind of ridiculous, and I was kind of like, whatever. It's just one of those things. But I find those things fascinating. So it kept going. And now that I've kind of ascended towards past the illusions part, it's a little bit more direct, right? So for me now, it's just in the way that someone says something. It's usually my wording, an oddity that only comes out of my brain that suddenly two or three people will say in the course of a conversation. And so again, it's something that could be rationalized as, oh, they're just friends with you, that's why they're using it. But typically when it starts to manifest when you're on the right path and it's trying to get your goat, trying to get your attention, it's usually a little bit more directly from you. And so you start to notice things like it'll be two random strangers and one person you know. Well, what are the odds that these two people that you've never met before would use the same vernacular that you would pull from? So it's stuff like that. But people will always try to talk you out of your path because either they don't believe it or they're stuck in a lower frequency and they can't believe that there's any things like miracles or magic or the belief in something outside of themselves. They're very fact-based. Even though facts can change, they're very fact-based. And so in that way, instead of arguing with them, just kind of let them have their thing, but you just take note of what it is that you're seeing and then find out what it's trying to tell you. For other people, it's patterns that will emerge in general conversations. So instead of it just being a pattern or a sequence of people doing it all in sequential order, it will be a bunch of different little things that specifically coordinate with one another in a way that specifically triggers you. So, for example, lately I've been showing up in people or to people as an alligator, a crocodile. First as an alligator, second as a crocodile, and then once with a crocodile and elephant. And so it's coming up in like tarot and other scenarios where I'm seeing patterns of it popping up that is random and not normal. And so I'm aware that I'm supposed to start looking into it. So now I'm actually looking at the Mayan calendar, and I figured out, oh, I'm a crocodile. That explains why I keep getting the freaking crocodile. And so you might be prompted to educational things, or it might be prompting you to better yourself. But whatever it is, it's a pattern, and it pays to learn the pattern sequence that registers for you, because it's a great way for the divine entity, the spirit, or God, or Allah, sorry, with respect, so I didn't mean to mess that up, to talk to you. And so it's a great empowering tool that you should probably get in a hold of now, because it's something that specifically is only messaging to you. And it's pretty amazing when you tap into it. So it's something that you should learn when you're first starting out. And that's why I wanted to put it up here now. And the foundational aspects to this is because spirituality is so unique as you are, as is the grand design and God Himself. So all of it's going to be very personal for you. So when you learn to listen for your voice, and you learn the value of that voice and how much power it has both above and below, in spiritual and in physical, then you can learn to hear His voice, its voice, their voice, her voice, more clearly, and then you can truly know that you're on the right path. And then the last but not least, the next little segment, I was going to say episode, like it was a comedy. The next segment is going to be the final one on this particular layer of the foundation, and it's going to address the aspect of when you are at the right moment on the right path, how you start to trust or learn what people to invest in as mentors or guides or someone that can help you along your path. I will always say this: a book is worth a million words because there's usually a million words within its context. Learn to read between the lines for a full story, but at least read the first half on the superfluous side of it. I love that word. In order to get a better idea of what it is that you are looking at. So read the books. I have two. One is called The Dual Purpose, and that is about the actual journey from the physical side and the soul arguing back and forth with each other. And then the next one is The Moon King with No Kingdom, which is also available on Amazon, and that one deals a lot more with the spiritual side of things. But for the moral of story is that I'm saying read in general things that you find or are prompted to read because it's telling you that you need to learn something or that there might be an answer that you seek within the sheets. All right? And not just the sheets in the bedroom. That's a whole different thing, and that's a Scorpio thing, and I'm a Cancer. So I'll let that specialty talk about that. Anyway, have a great day.